lovely comments. You guys are so sweet and kind to me, and I cannot tell you how much I appreciate it. Yes, I do get some mean comments every once in a while, but mostly you guys are awesome. And I know some of you have been here from the beginning when I was posting like 3 times a week. And I know that a lot of ASMR true crime content creators are no longer making content because this is hard. It's hard to do, guys. So I just want to let you know I appreciate you so much. Anyway, I'm done. Okay, so tonight's video is going to be a little bit shorter because there just wasn't a lot of information on this case, but I found it so weird, and anytime I find a case like that, I feel like I have got to tell you guys so that we can talk about it in the comments down below. So, we're going to talk about Naja Ferrell. She actually went missing from a place I used to live, Indiana. Najah was described as the cornerstone of her family. She was in a long-term relationship, and depending on which article you read, she was engaged, or she'd called it off, but they were still together. I couldn't find out a lot about this man, but we'll talk about that later. She enjoyed spending time with her children. She had 5 of them, 2 biological and 3 foster children, as well as her nieces and nephews. It was said that she always had a group of kids with her, that she was happiest when she was spending time with them. So it really was no surprise to her family when she decided to foster the 3 additional children. She wanted to give back to her community and be there for kids who did not have anyone else, and that to me deserves the utmost respect. So, the first couple days at a new job can be stressful. I'm about to experience that myself, especially when your shift starts at 5 a.m. But on March 15th of 2019, Najah was ready. She was going to work at the Panera Bread Company restaurant in Indianapolis, Indiana. She, in fact, was up and moving by 3 a.m. at her home in Avon, Indiana. So the IMPD realized that Najah was a resident of Hendricks County. So they transferred the case to the Avon Police Department. Now this is a suburb of Indianapolis, so they don't have as big of a department. They received her case on Friday evening, and because of this, they actually didn't even assign a detective to it until Monday. And according to all of the reports that I saw, they didn't actually start mobilizing until like Monday afternoon. Avon Police Department Detective Brian Nugent said, "We tried to connect with cell phone providers, and we prepared and submitted several search warrants." The following day, investigators said they interviewed neighbors, friends, and family, including Najah's fiance, who was the last person to see her. Detective Nugent added that all of the interviewed parties had cooperated with their investigation. He said, "In the absence of any information to suggest that anyone knows where she is, foul play is at the forefront of our theories," which is strange to me because usually they just say, "Oh, she ran away." For her to be away this long, unexplained and unplanned, foul play is certainly a possibility. The detective added that authorities were unable to name a suspect or suspects at this time of her disappearance. We are using the phrase, "it is like she vanished into thin air." But I want to say right here and right now, there's no such thing. Najah's aunt, Rodell Gowdy, told the local media, "Somebody knows something. It is impossible that no one knows anything." Now, through the interviews that the police conducted with people who knew Najah, police have been unable to find anything unusual that may have sparked her sudden disappearance. Detective Nugent said, "We're not really learning of anything that could have led up to this. It's almost as frustrating as it is inexplicable. Everything was totally normal, and then all of a sudden, she's just gone." Shortly after Najah went missing, authorities conducted extensive ground and aerial searches, searching for her. In a matter of 2 weeks, which I feel like is a long time, but Indianapolis is a pretty big area, her 2018 Nissan Altima was discovered in a parking lot of a shopping center, roughly 2.5 miles from the Panera Bread where she was supposed to be arriving. A ton of articles said that was close, but I don't feel like that's close. Like, a couple parking lots over is close. 2 miles, 2.5 miles or whatever, that's not close. Not long after her car was discovered, construction workers found papers and personal items near the I-465 and Lafayette Road intersection in Indianapolis. The media didn't really ever state what these items were. Her sister Jaleesa said that they were Najah's ID and bank cards. However, the rest of her purse and phone were missing. They have never been recovered. Najah's family and friends state that it is completely out of character for her to just vanish without a trace. Her best friend Crystal Royal told local TV stations that hoping that more remains belonging to Najah would be discovered nearby. However, they had divers and sonar and people searching. Nothing else of Najah has ever been recovered since 1 month after she went missing in 2019. Furthermore, despite issuing more than 30 search warrants and interviewing in excess of 40 people in connection with Najah's disappearance, there have been no leads in this case. Avon Police Department Detective Brian Nugent continues to investigate Najah's case, and he urges members of the public to come forward if they have information. He also tweeted, "Somebody knows something." He added that everyone linked to the investigation has been cooperative and insisted at a press conference that he will not stop until Najah has been reunited with her family. Meanwhile, there are a lot of questions in this case. Why was Najah's car in a parking lot 2 miles from her place of work? Did she go somewhere else before her shift? Was there any suspicion from the police towards her fiancé, the last one who had seen her alive? Another potential theory could be linked to the fact that Najah's foot was discovered directly along I-65, a major north-south highway running all the way from the Great Lakes to the Gulf of Mexico. Maybe Najah had been picked up by a killer who had spread her remains across several states to throw off law enforcement. I-65 has been the hunting ground of a serial murderer before. After all, so someone else may have been drawn to capitalize on this arterial highway for nefarious reasons. Her mother and children have been absolutely devastated by her loss. Her mom, Paula, said, "It never goes away. I would never want a family to experience anything like this, especially the way that we have." Paula also questions whether or not Najah even left the house that day. The children still saw her work shoes at the house, and they also saw that her coat was still there. Now it's March, remember, and it's early morning, so it was probably pretty cold. Her mother told a local news station that the details, the circumstances around this case just were not normal. It is not normal to take someone's life that was not involved in anything illegal, living a life of chance and haphazardly. No, this was a mother doing the right thing, starting a new job to bring in extra money for her family. "We don't have any closure," she said in an interview on TV. "Please have the courage to stand up and help someone else. Please don't take that to your grave." If anyone has any information related to Najah's case, please contact could explain it away by saying maybe she wore a different coat, or maybe she wore different shoes. Not a lot of people have those kind of options as far as 2 pairs of work shoes or 2 coats or whatever. But maybe she didn't want to leave her coat like in her locker at work, so she just went without it. We did have CCTV footage of the Nissan Altima leaving the area early in the morning hours. However, on the CCTV footage, you cannot tell who is driving. So whether or not it was actually Najah leaving for work that morning, or it was potentially the fiance, we don't know. I tried to look for this man. I tried to even find his name. Now, I didn't spend like hours and hours searching, but I did do a couple of searches, and I couldn't find any information on him as well. And I find that strange. We always kind of focus on the spouse. I have no idea what that was. So I think that's weird that not even his name was kind of released to the public. However, if he was completely cleared by police, I could see why that would be, because they don't want people harassing him or things like that, or people like me, armchair detectives, digging into his personal information. I'm not going to say that it was him. I'm also not going to say that it wasn't, because we really don't know. Now, to find her car, several miles from where she was supposed to work, but also several miles from home, is strange to me. So I have to think that, and again, this is reaching, guys, because I don't know, but let's say she arrived to work 4:45-ish, 4:30, let's say she's an early person like me, and someone nabbed her as she got out of her vehicle. That, to me, would make more sense, and then they would either kidnap her and then dump the vehicle, or maybe there was multiple people, so one of them dumped the vehicle and one of them took her to an alternative location. Unfortunately, I believe that the police are correct. I don't know that any other items or parts, I hate to say that, of Naja will be recovered. I didn't find any information about what kind of pond this was, or, and Yes, this case is so bizarre to me. There is another case in the Indianapolis area that has some similar characteristics, and for a while they were wondering if they had a serial killer. However, I couldn't find anything after those two cases to potentially link them all together. But that was the case of Angie Barlow, which I didn't find enough information to cover as its own separate little case. So I hate it when that happens. Like in this case, I wish that I could have told you so much more about Najah and her life before she became a missing person. I hate that even in our days of modern technology, we're still searching for people like this. Why were there no cameras in the parking lot where her car was left to see if she was the one who left it there? Where is that information? Did someone else get out of her car, even with a hood on? I find it hard to believe that the fiance, depending on which article you read, ex-fiance, whatever, boyfriend, whatever, would have been able to ditch the car. And now it wasn't found for 2 weeks, so it may not have been there for the actual 2 weeks, but, and then how did he get back to the kids? Because he had to get the kids up and off for school. And then, like, these foster kids lost their placement, they had to go somewhere else, and it just, this is a terrible, terrible case. And for some reason, the ones where we find just parts of people really, really tug at my heart. Because I can't imagine. And I hope that this case is one day solved. Anyway, like I said, I knew that this case would be shorter than normal, but I still thank you so much for watching and being here with me on my channel. As I said in the beginning of this video, I cannot tell you how appreciative I am of each and every one of you. Some of you leave comments every single video, and I worry about you when you don't, because I look forward to those comments, and it is like we are friends. So, just thank you so much for being here with me today. I will see you guys soon for another video. If you have any case suggestions, please leave them down below. My list is getting a little thin. I haven't asked you guys for any suggestions in a while. This was actually from the very bottom of the list, so Najah has been waiting patiently for me to tell you her story. Thank you again. I will see you soon. Goodbye.